I'm sure the slides are visible, I believe.
Yes,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. I'm making a simple beginning with one of the quotes from Alvin Toffler. Alvin Toffler is familiar to all the management and commerce teachers and students in general, because he's the one who made a lot of predictions about the technology and the consequential changes in the world order. Somewhere he makes a mention about the importance of education and its relevance in making the society. It runs like this: to help avert future shocks, we must create a super industrial educational system. And to do this, we must search for our objectives, methods in the future rather than the past. Education must shift into future tense. He has predicted lot many things, and he is the one for the first time used the word future shocks. People of my age are subjected to several shocks caused by technology on the one side, environmental changes on the other side, and as such, many a time we noticed it as a shock. The world has not yet come out of the shock created by the pandemic COVID-19. Such shocks are there, and it is going to be. But when we have to avert the future shocks, we must create a super industrial educational system. That means an educational system can tune us, educate us, and make us confident to sustain and face the consequences of any shocks, let it be economical, let it be natural, political, because education is something that is concerned with knowledge, and knowledge is the real power, and knowledge can help us to solve any sort of problems on this earth. Knowledge is the most powerful weapon. There are 1,000 instances and examples that anybody can quote. Therefore, whenever we think in terms of preparing ourselves for facing the future challenges, we must search for the objectives and the methods in the future. Objectives is always concerned with the future. Objectives are the destination that we would like to reach, and the methods are the means. They are the vehicles that carries us towards the destination. Here, the future is going to be totally different from what it was 10 years back or at present. In the light of the technological changes, socio-economic, political, and some natural changes that are happening, we can predict what would be the future state of affairs in terms of life, in terms of business, in terms of living on this earth. For that purpose, as we the people concerned with academics and framing the syllabus and teaching the students to make them responsible citizens of the nation, always think in terms of the future and prepare them to face the challenges of the future confidently. Unless we know what's going to happen in the future, and unless we know how to solve the future problems, we cannot prepare them at all. For that reason, he says, education must shift into future tense. It is always concerned with the past. I'm not to say that one should not study the past. One should not study the history. Even when you study the history, when you study the past, it must be with an intention to plan for the future, because life is always about the future. Life is always in terms of the future tense. Therefore, here, NEP 2020 is a vision and a roadmap created for the academics in general and for the life of the youth for the future, because India is a country blessed with a largest size of the youth population in the world. And in order to take the cream of the demographic dividend, we need to catch our young population as young. Unless we catch them young, they will become old after another 10, 20, 25 years. Keeping that in mind, we must prepare our academic programs and our teaching pedagogy to reach them in the right direction. Particularly as we belong to the commerce and management stream of academics, our concern is about framing commerce and management programs and teaching these programs effectively to make our students market friendly, economy friendly, and more than anything, future friendly. For that purpose, the moment you think of commerce and management education, what comes to anybody's mind is the subjects and the profession. When I say subjects, profession, more related to accounting, auditing, taxation, marketing, HR, finance, retailing, supply chain, business analytics, corporate communications, CRM, banking and insurance, business management, company secretaryship, chartered accountancy, cost and works accountancy, and particularly the popular degree programs in the universities in the form of BCom, BBA, MCom, MBA, things like that. These are the programs that we are all teaching with a modification. There could be some applied derivative courses like hotel management and things like that. There may be different programs like MA in HR, MA in banking, something like that. But all these programs are aiming at teaching students about the commerce and management education. When I say commerce and management education, I am of the opinion, for the purpose of precision and easy to express frequently, this can be called business education. Commerce and management put together can be called business education. And business education is the most popular programs across the globe. Take any country for that matter, more number of youngsters are into these programs. Same is the case with India. When it is happening so much here, how to think about the programs that we are going to offer and how to make these programs lively by adopting appropriate pedagogy. That is the stuff, that is the purpose that I have in my mind while interacting on this. If you have any queries, please feel free and respond to anything and everything that comes to your mind. As I said, put together commerce and the management program, business education. What's happening to business education today in the country? If at all anybody is asked to comment on that, what is your understanding of business education scenario in the country today? As I am summarizing, if you have anything to comment, you can comment. As I am summarizing, today, business education is at crossroads. It is in the crossroads. People are not very clear as to what it is. Though a large number of students are coming towards these programs, if you ask them, why did you choose these courses, these programs, most of them may give the answers like, it is not as difficult as science subjects. I am poor in mathematics, poor in chemistry, so that I thought this is the place for me. And some people will say, I don't like to do any course that is not having job opportunities, employment potential, and commerce programs have more number of job opportunities. That's the reason I'm going for this. This type of understanding is more among the students, even the parents and the teachers also sometimes. Many teachers will say that you will get jobs if you do these courses. That's the reason you come for this. Many a time, these courses are started with an intention to prepare successful businessmen. And what is the successful businessman are? Who are these people? Everybody looks for success. Success these days is clearly defined in terms of your ability to make money, nothing more than that. It's an unfortunate thing that I must say. Ultimately, people measure success through one's ability to make money. As a result, business education today, to a greater extent, rotates around preparing businessmen who can make plenty of money. Followed by that, what we are teaching in the name of latest updates in the curriculum of the so-called business schools is about modern capitalism. In a country like ours, which was wedded to a mixed economy type of situation, now, any comments? If there are any comments, please. Most of the time, our teaching is aiming at popularizing capitalism, making youngsters to become greedy, and to teach a sort of stupidity and intellectual fraudulent practices through success stories. We call some people as successful people. They themselves say, I'm not successful. I'm not successful. I have failed in so many attempts. But we think they are the most successful people and we make them to imitate. Preparing generations of reflective corporate leaders. Excuse me. Will you mute your system and speak to others? When you speak to me, only unmute. One at a time, one at a time. Okay. In the name of latest programs in commerce and management, we are preparing reflective corporate leaders, keeping somebody in mind. We want everybody to become like that. That is what happening. And followed by that, despite of so much educational institutions offering programs, teaching corporate ethics, corporate governance, that, this and all, there is an increase in the number of corporate crimes and evidence of unprofessionalism. Increased unprofessional attitudes is what we are seeing. As a result of this, every young graduate thinks that success means it is personal achievement, success means making huge money, and success means achieve your targets irrespective of anything that happens to the humanity and the society. That's the reason many a time, the moment you say businessman, people start thinking in a different way. People always think that business is to make profit. Profit making is not a sin, but still profit is not the only objective of business, business education, and businessmen at large. Therefore, keeping all these things in mind, we the teachers concerned with framing the course content and devising the teaching pedagogy for the youngsters need to think doubly, because the circumstances are such that everybody appears to be selfish and everybody thinks in terms of maximizing wealth, returns, and individual satisfaction at the cost of the society at large. Therefore, education must always prepare responsible citizens, responsible community. Keeping that in mind, education needs to be altered according to the changes that happens in the society. Recall Alvin Toffler's statement, you must always think in terms of the future. To face the future shocks, where the present society is faced with so much of crisis, conflict, crimes and all, we need to come out with some solution for that. Technology has become so imperative that we can say that without technology we cannot survive at all. But at the same time, we must remember technology is not a substitute for mankind. Technology must be used for the good of the society, not to eliminate the social good from our life. For that reason, we need to revive reinvent, revisit into our education system. As a result of all this, the government of India came out with a new education policy, which is called the National Educational Policy 2020. The National Education Policy as a new policy was introduced by the MHRD on 29th July 2020. From that day, there are deliberations, discussions going on across the country, some positive, some negative thoughts about it. Despite of that, it has become mandatory now. We have to accept it and we must prepare. We must eliminate the negative ones and replace them by the positive characters that may help making productive youngsters, productive, efficient youth force for the country. Because it is with the youth only a country can progress. It could be the reason for Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam to say that by 2020, India will become superpower. When he said by 2020, India will become superpower, his focus was on the youngsters. His focus was on the demographic dividend that we could realize, but that has not happened. Now, though it is late, we have to realize the importance of putting our youngsters on the right path. That is the only way for us to progress and to protect the country from the external, exogenous factors, like let it be the different types of technological revolutions happening, socio-economic political changes that are happening across the globe. For that purpose, we need to prepare through our youngsters only. For that, this NEP is a roadmap. This roadmap has become inevitable for us in the light of the changes that are happening. Why this NEP basically? Before I take you towards teaching commerce and management programs, why this NEP program? See here, presently all of us are experiencing the effect of Industrial Revolution 4.0. The advent of Industry 4.0 scenario has led our current system of education outdated. Needless to elaborate how we have become outdated. The Industrial Revolution 4.0, the digital economy, the digital life has made our current, the past education system redundant. Hence, NEP is designed to contemplate the current skill requirements of youngsters. This policy has been introduced into the country after a lapse of years. 3 decades is a too long period to make changes. I am not to say that no changes have happened in between, but a drastic change was required at this point of time in the light of the happenings around us. For that purpose only, by replacing or as an improvement over the 1986 National Education Policy, the new policy has been introduced. It was also inevitable for us to go for a change because of the compulsions from the UNO's Sustainable Development Goals. Under Sustainable Development Goals, 4 advocates for quality education to ensure inclusive, equitable, quality education to promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. For everybody to give a lifelong learning opportunity, it has become necessary even based on the directions of the UNO. And accordingly, the government of India has planned this new education policy with an intention to create inclusive economic development, achieve inclusive economic development by 2030. Needless to elaborate, what is this Industrial Revolution 4.0? It's a fusion of advances in artificial intelligence, robotics, Internet of Things, genetic engineering, quantum computing, and many more such new technology into life. Today, life has become highly complicated, more so with business also, more so with commerce and management also. The same old pattern of banking, the same old pattern of doing accounts will not work any longer. Now we have to update ourselves. For that reason, just to make you think, those are the days when we used to say that school is for learning, and when you go out of the school, you have to work. Learn in school, work outside. But today, that's not the situation. Even on the job, you have to learn a lot. Every day you have to upgrade yourself. Upskilling has become inevitable. The purpose of this RC, refresher course, is also to upskill ourselves. Unless we upskill ourselves with the changing technology, changing ideologies, we will be nowhere. Gone are the days. Once you learn something means that you can repeat again and again. How many times you have repeated? So many number of years will be added as your experience. Once a student asks a teacher, what's your experience? 30 years of teaching. What does it mean? 30 years of teaching means repeating 30 times the same thing. By repeating 30 times the same old things, you cannot become a 30 years experienced teacher today. Every now and then you have to change yourself, equip yourself, come out with new things. Therefore, the future belongs to only those who make constant lifelong learning. To inculcate such an attitude among the youngsters, the NEP has been created, and the syllabus is going to be designed based on that only. Needless to elaborate about the features of the NEP, we will be knowing, Industrial Revolution 4.0 made the industries to be on their toes. The business got altered because of that. As a result of this, new inventions every day, the product life cycle has become very sharp, and the dynamic value chain and value systems are expected. Cost of production and minimization has become the order of the day. Skills have become very scarce because whatever the skill that we had become outdated, and the youngsters are replacing the old aged employees, because presently people working who are in the above the average age level and not equipped with the modern tools are to be replaced, and replacing need not be inhuman. Given the situation, to make our industries to be productive, efficient, we need to think of modern methods of production, manufacturing, marketing, and in total management. This is what commerce and management, in other words. The present industry, the moment you think of new structure, new business, you need to think in terms of the organization structure, people-related practices, and along with that, a continuous learning process to make industries to be competitive, to equip themselves with the modern challenges of the business world. For that purpose, we need to prepare. Why I am telling all this is, for that purpose, we need to prepare our youngsters. The roots of NEP are in the changing industrial scenario. To change this, we need to go according to the changes happening. What are the visions of this NEP 2020? I'm going back to NEP now, after telling you the Industrial Revolution 4.0 along with this. To make our youngsters equip themselves to meet the requirements of the Industrial Revolution 4.0 and the changes that are happening everywhere, a new education policy, namely the NEP 2020, came out with a vision of creating an education system that contributes to an equitable and vibrant knowledge society. Equitable and vibrant knowledge society by providing high quality education to all. We have to underline the statement, high quality education to all. That means today, everybody who deserves, who is eligible to get the education may not be able to get it. But the vision of this NEP 2020 is to give an equitable and vibrant knowledge for everybody who is in the age group of learning at the higher education institutions and the educational institutions rather, to have inclusive development, inclusive growth, inclusive achievements. Another statement, the vision is to develop a deep sense of respect towards the fundamental rights, duties, and the constitutional values, bonding with one's country and a conscious awareness of one's role and responsibility in a changing world. While talking to you about the business education, and when I said it is in the crossroads, we are simply preparing youngsters to do business with an intention to make money, to become rich. There can be a short-term courses with a title, how to become rich overnight. Commerce education is not only for making people to earn money, become rich, something like that. But becoming rich, earning money is not a sin, is not a crime, as long as one respects the constitutional values, one respects the fundamental rights and duties of every citizen of the country. And as long as we put the country above everything, yes, when we put the country above everything, take responsibility of the fellow colleagues, fellow people, fellow citizens along with us, that will make a real educated man. In that sense, the vision is to instill skills, values, and dispositions that support responsible commitment to human rights. See, in the name of business, the rights of several people, underprivileged people, are taken away. People are exploited in the name of work, productivity. Vulnerable sections of the society have been deprived of their fundamental rights in the name of the wages, salary, changes in timings, changes in the targets, etc. Therefore, making people to be responsible citizens and to respect human rights, sustainable development, living and global well-being, thereby preparing people to become corporate, not only corporate citizens, global citizens. Global citizens. Today, the world has become small. The world has become small because of the communication, transportation, and the information technological revolutions. As such, we are preparing people who can live anywhere, work anywhere, earn anywhere, provided they have the ability to get accustomed to the situations and do good for the people around them. Ultimately, they must give proper respect for the courses, programs, universities, and the country from where they are. Their behavior must reflect the qualifications that they are having. Therefore, with all this, the objectives of NEP precisely, because unless you know the objectives of the NEP, you cannot think of, let it be commerce course or management course, science or arts, whatever the course is. What are the objectives of this NEP? I am making it precise. I'm making it precise. First, at the first instance, the objective is the removal of rigid boundaries between the different disciplines in the name of faculty, subjects, etc. Education is for dissemination of knowledge. Knowledge can belong to anything, anybody, anywhere. As a result, let there not be demarcation between science, arts, commerce, management, etc. It is for the convenience and comfort of our administrations we are doing this. But knowledge is the real power. Knowledge is something that helps people to get out of crisis, to solve a problem, to invent something new. For this purpose, removal of rigid boundaries between the different disciplines, different areas of knowledge, bodies of knowledge rather, is the prime objective of NEP. Another thing is to open up the choice and the preferences for the students. Hitherto, there were limited opportunities. Say, for instance, for any reason, if someone has joined commerce courses, means he cannot study anything related to arts, like history, sociology. He cannot study anything related to science, like physics, computing, etc. It is to respect the choice and preferences of the students NEP has been created. This is one of the biggest challenges to face later on when we devise the courses. A commerce student may be interested in literature. A commerce student may be interested in studying history. A commerce student may like to learn the basics of chemistry or physics. Unless we equip ourselves to do so, we are going to create a series of problems for both the students and for the institutions as such. But the objective is to open up the choice and the preferences for students. Followed by that is to reduce the rate of dropouts and to improve the GR, gross enrollment ratio. NEP is aiming at improving the GR, at the same time reducing the dropout, the number of students who are quitting the courses for obvious reasons. Many a time, students may quit the course because of the difficulty in the program, inability to cope up with the pressure of studying a subject which is new to them, or maybe because of the economic reasons, personal reasons, things like that. NEP is aiming at helping the students to continue their education even after an essential or inevitable dropout for them, to get back to courses without any loss, without any damage to their academic targets. Therefore, the objective is to help students to continue their education, particularly it is mentioned as the lifelong learning. The original plan of National Education Policy is to open up the courses lifelong. A student who drop out from a course can work somewhere, earn some money, and whenever he feels like continuing the education, can get back. Even after 5 years, 6 years, he can come back. Now we say, once the admission is over, if you have to complete the course in double the duration time. 3 years course you must complete in 6 years. But the NEP's true spirit is to make people to learn throughout their life. They can get back and study at any point of time. But in the beginning, to reduce the dropout rate, encourage mobility. With the creation of the new facilities like academic bank of credit and other concepts, it is to encourage the students to move from institution to institution, program to program, and physical place to place. Mobility is one of the prime things concentrated on this. Say, for instance, a commerce graduate can migrate from commerce to arts, or commerce to science, or he can go from one institution to another institution, and he can carry his credit and join a different institution, different program somewhere in the country. That is the holistic intention with which this NEP is being created. Followed by that, credit recognition, accumulation, transfer, redemption through ABC, Academic Bank of Credit. To facilitate seamless mobility, within and between institutions and disciplines. Teachers who are teaching commerce and management, policymakers in the Board of Studies who devise the course contents must keep these points in mind. In the Board of Studies, when we frame the syllabus must go in par with these objectives that the NEP has kept in its vision. That will help us to formulate the programs. Originally, the NEP entire program is based on certain principles. After saying this, I will take you towards commerce education and things like that. What are the principles on which NEP is based on? First one is recognizing, identifying, fostering unique capabilities of each student. Every student is special. Every student is unique. That too, think of the type of students coming for commerce and management programs. Commerce and management programs. To break the monotony, if I put it as a question to you, how do you rate? What is your description? What's your understanding of the type of students coming for commerce and management programs? Can anybody comment on this? I thought of breaking the monotony. Simple listening is boring, you know. Can anybody comment?
Excuse me, sir. This is Ravikant.
Please.
So, no doubt, NEP has been launched by HRD, and it is having its own set of objectives. But I think to achieve the objectives of NEP successfully, any pre-platform is required, sir.
Can you repeat it, please? The last one.
Sir, it is having its own set of objectives, NEP.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Now, to achieve, the most important thing is that we are required to achieve the objectives in a proper manner.
Correct.
Otherwise, it will be useless. But any pre-platform is required, sir.
Yes, preparations are required. Preparations are required for making anything to work. Say, for instance, this discussion and deliberation is an attempt to move towards that. For making this to happen, we have to mentally prepare, and the institutions have to come out with plans. You have to redevise your course content. You have to make preparation with the infrastructure. Unless all these things are made, you cannot execute it properly. That's what the preparation platform means. Higher education institutions. NEP starts at the primary school level, no? From next year onwards, it is going to be at the primary school. From the primary school up to the doctorate degree, we have to make preparations. Today's discussion is also one such preparation. First, we have to mentally prepare for accepting anything new.
Sir, I think that means there is a need of creation of awareness among the students about this one.
Correct. First, we have to create awareness among the teachers, awareness among the students, parents, policymakers. Without that, nothing will happen. That's the reason. The reason for having this refresher course with a title that is thrust area is teaching commerce and management in the light of NEP. We must mentally prepare what the NEP expects. That is the basic thing. See here, my question was also in support of that only. Every student is special. Every student has a unique capability. To cater to that, we need to devise the course content. And we need to come out with appropriate teaching methodology also. Say, for instance, teaching commerce subjects is not that easy as people think, because commerce and management subjects are the practical ones that the student and everybody experiences day in and out. What they study in the science laboratory may not be visible in the immediate life situation. But whatever the commerce teacher says, management teacher says, that is closer to life. I think you can get the point what I'm trying to say. Every day you are experiencing banking, insurance, retailing, online shopping, right? Online shopping, mobile banking, payment industry. These are all the issues related to commerce and management people. Unless we are equipped with this, we cannot teach, we cannot make them to understand. Anything that is new first affects the commerce and management faculty only in the academic section. In the academic arena, it is the commerce and the management people who are going to be affected for the first time. Same is the case. Therefore, my question to you was, if at all you are asked to comment on the type of students that you are getting, the nature of their preparedness to study, their objective of study, what is your understanding? I think my question is clear to you.
Yes, sir. Actually, most of the students. Yes, sir. Julius, sir, you please.
Yeah, I'm sir speaking.
Please.
Shall I proceed, sir?
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. So whatever you have presented is all being taken out and understood by people. Now you have introduced first in your university or in your state. What is the model? Any concrete model for any particular course of education following the principles of NEP, sir?
We have developed the program. Say, for instance,
Yeah.
in Karnataka, the Karnataka Higher Education Council has came out with a model of course structure for programs in different faculty like arts, commerce, science and all. And that model has been given to the universities, and the university has also constituted board of studies to adopt those models. Say, for instance, in the present model, the subject of study has been divided into different categories, like the discipline core subjects, discipline elective subject, open elective subjects, ability enhancement subject, skill enhancement subjects, things like that. One part of the program is for the discipline specific. Say, for instance, a commerce student must study certain core subjects. Along with that, he must study something of his interest that comes under open elective pattern. Along with that, ability enhancement in the changing environment, to make him a perfect match, he must learn something new. Say, for instance, studying a foreign language, fluency in computers, skill enhancement, digital fluency we have introduced. Okay, the basic financial awareness programs. Many a time what happens, you may be good in accounting, good in banking, may not be knowing anything about the stock market, may not be knowing anything about investment, savings, deposit, banking, insurance. Related to this, we have given a model wherein open elective, skill enhancement, ability enhancement, discipline specific courses, the pattern is prepared by the Karnataka Higher Education Council, and all the universities are asked to adopt that based on their requirements with a slight modification. I think you got it.
I have one more addition, sir.
Please.
In our college, we have introduced much before all these ability enhancement course, discipline specific elective, or other core elective, other things. So one experience is few of our commerce students took up this physics paper.
Yes.
electrical wiring like. They all got failed. The thing is, they were not up to the level that they expect with the physics student.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
At this point, those students with all interest, creativity, and all other ambition, he moves to the other department. Whereas the other teachers also have this kind of notion of underestimating the students that ultimately results in what is that? Our challenge in our vision, perhaps, I don't know.
Here, there are two issues concerned with this. One is to look at everybody as a specialist, and the other one is as a generalist. Okay, if you are a generalist in unrelated additional issues like wiring and other things, it's not a problem for a commerce graduate. But where he is expected to be specialist, there he has to develop the high level of proficiency. Even the attitude of the teachers who are teaching and evaluating, believe me, teaching and evaluating need to be modified in this direction. Say, for instance, when I am teaching wiring, not to make him an electrical engineer there, right? When I am teaching something in addition to his specialized knowledge, whatever minimum basic things are required, that we must teach and that we must expect. Right? Don't take it too seriously. Somewhere a student has mentioned, what is your comment about present day examinations and evaluations? A student jokingly put it in the WhatsApp. It's a WhatsApp message I'm telling. A student says, our teachers in the classroom teach how to cook rice, but in the examination, they ask us to prepare biryani. Hope it can explain the type of situation we are experiencing. We should know what level of teaching we are doing, that we must properly plan, and evaluation must also be in the light of that only. That will, and more than anything, we are making a beginning. Let us make a positive beginning with good intentions. If the intentions are good, ways are going to be open. I think I am reaching you. Your comments are free. Yes.
Sir, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, this is Devarajan from Erode Art and Science College.
Yeah, please, sir. Please, sir.
Sir, actually, the Government of India offering 3 professional courses, that is Chartered Accountant, Company Secretaryship, and Cost and Management Accounting.
Yes.
They are the executors for whatever the policies as given by the Government of India.
Correct.
Wouldn't we introduce the new education policy to them first?
Even for them, the basic eligibility starts from the degree, no? PUC degree and all. As a result, NEP has been introduced from primary school to university programs. Definitely, it is going to be incorporated into those professional programs also. In the days to come, it is going to be altered there also.
I think that the government wants to implement the first to them. That is my suggestion. Because
everybody says, if something is good, let it start from my side. If something is difficult, let it start from the end. We cannot say that now. For CA and any degree, we need PUC, eligibility may be +2, or it may be a degree, something like that.
Yes,
That is the conventional education system. Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, one more thing, that sir.
Please.
What is a procedure to be taken by the new education policy to cut through the dropout ratio?
It is, first one is to make it flexible. The examination and the evaluation process is made simple. And another thing, if you are not able to write the exam one attempt, you will be given opportunity to rejoin, retake the examination. As I was telling, it is a lifelong learning process. You can move to, what are the reasons for dropping out? The reasons for dropping out may be shifting the family from one place to another, or maybe because of marriage, ill health, or maybe because of the economic reasons. When the situation improves, you can get back. Time is not the constraint. Through that, presently what happens, a dropped out student is dropped out forever. He will not think of getting back, even if he is capable of coming back. Now, the lateral entry and lateral exit option gives vent for these people to get back. That's the option.
At any type, any
Yes,
time of
yes.
age.
Yes. Now we have made it double the duration, something like that.
Yes, sir.
But the original idea is to make it throughout the life. Even at the age of 60, we can get back to college.
Fine, sir.
Okay. As I was telling, the courses are to be developed keeping in mind the unique nature of the individual students. No hard separation of art, science, commerce like that. Anybody can take up anything. It's a multidisciplinary, holistic education pattern. There is emphasis on conceptual understanding, creativity, and critical thinking. These are the things that are essential these days. Creativity and critical thinking are the much expected skills in the 21st century. If you say the 21st century skills, these are the most prominent along with the technical skills. Promotion of multilingualism, power of language in teaching learning, concentrating on the power of language, and the original idea is to teach people in their mother tongue. I'm sure all of you will agree that anything that you learn through mother tongue, makes you think critically, make you think creatively, originally, things like that. Promotion of skill-based education, new power and leadership styles, preparing new leadership styles, use of artificial intelligence, and the latest technology in everything that you do. Latest technology and its advancement must be always incorporated into business. Same is the case with NEP. It is not only business they have suggested, it's for the science, arts, commerce, any student need to be technically updated. Equity and inclusion. It is for all. Equity and inclusion, the constitutional guarantees given to every citizen in this country, that must be upheld through the policy. Making these regulations appears to be little difficult, but the intention is to ensure transparency and efficiency through rigid and strict guidelines. If all these things are implemented, education will become a fruitful device in the hands of the graduated person. In toto, NEP is an outcome-based education. What does it mean? Outcome-based education means if you are studying something, at the end of the course, you must be able to do that on your own. Now, you may be knowing the general comment is that most of the graduates coming out of the universities are unemployable. Only, say for instance, 10 to 15% of the engineering graduates are employable based on their degrees. If you go deep into that, in what stream of education you have qualified, that stream of knowledge may not have made you to be independent thinker or a doer in this field. An automobile engineer may not be able to manage his own two-wheeler or four-wheeler. An electronics engineer may not be knowing the mechanism or the technology involved in his own mobile phone. The basics may not be known, but here, after completing the course, what you must be able to do, say for instance, many a time people say a commerce graduate may not be knowing how to open an account, a demat account. I think you agree with me. You may be a commerce graduate, and many professors of commerce may not be knowing how to file their income tax returns. Given this situation, NEP, not that earlier education policy was not keeping this in mind. NEP emphasizes on outcome-based education. What do you want to prepare? Will they become that after the course is completed? That's what the intention. Critical thinking and development of real life problem solving skills. See, for us, there is a tip. Instead of only making theoretical presentations, we must expect our students to solve the real life problems. For business and management graduates, world is the laboratory in the true sense. Every day in and day out, things are happening outside. We must prepare them to be the problem solvers. Basically, the problems of commerce and management are the problems of life itself. Earning, spending, saving, investing, lending, borrowing. These are all the issues concerned with. Life. As a result, we need to make it a problem-solving, real-life-oriented courses. Extensive use of technology in teaching and learning. Technology must be used to the maximum possible level in teaching and learning. Wherever it is possible, we must go for hands-on experience. NEP has also come out with vocational courses. Good number of vocational courses have been identified, and still the list is incomplete to enhance the technical skills of the students. Along with that, empowering the students to become experts in problem solving with discipline knowledge and other related skills. This will make the students to become competent, independent in their thinking with the course that they are taking. In summary, if you look at the business and the business world has experienced unprecedented turbulence in toto. The unprecedented turbulence that we have experienced made us to experience shortage of skills, shortage of concepts, shortage of technology to solve these problems. What are these uncertainty? What we have noticed as a change in the business world today, changing social contracts. Social contracts means relationship. The society has changed. Relationship between the people, let it be as the master, employee, teacher, student, parent, dependent, etc. The social contracts have changed. As a result, the legal written contracts have become inevitable. That we must keep in mind. Changing roles and the rules. Roles of the people, please. Roles of the people, both in business and life, has changed, and the government came out with changes in the rules and regulations. The rules and regulations in terms of the new government policies, amendments to the existing laws, say for instance, Industrial Disputes Act, it could be Factories Act, labor legislations, lot many changes have happened in these recent past, and as such, we have to prepare students to equip themselves with the new challenges, and followed by that, unpredicted capital requirements. The type of capital we need is not only the financial capital, high demand for intellectual capital, human capital, along with the financial capital. That we need to prepare, and students must be taught about their significance. Unclear pattern of customer behavior. In the market, the customers are also got changed. The expectations of the customers are very high. As they expect very high, they are not loyal to any business, not loyal to any company. They change their buying patterns, they change their vendor, suppliers, etc. And every time they are quality conscious and price sensitive. As a result, we need to prepare our youngsters, young graduates to come up with this background in mind. The complexity of expectations of the employer, the customer, the investor, the government, and the society at large puts all the challenges in front of the new young graduates who are coming out of the colleges. For them, we need to devise a strategy, solution for them to equip themselves in order to make their future journey as the employees or as entrepreneurs to fit into the situation. How to do that? How can we devise our programs, and what should be the philosophy for preparing our commerce and management graduates to become a paragon with the changing world order? That can be the content we can deliberate hereafter. So far, if you have any queries about, comments about whatever I said so far, please come out with your questions, or otherwise I've been getting phone calls and messages. We can take a break here. We can get back after another tea break. I think it is 3:15, I believe. If you have questions, you can ask, or otherwise, let us take a break now.
Sir, this is Gautam Chandra from Assam.
Okay, Gautam Chan, please.
Yes, sir. As a commerce student, because it is a NEP is a multidisciplinary. As a commerce student, what student can go for like little bit idea about like physics, chemistry, and like pol science. But my question is that what will be the opportunities and challenges for the teachers? Although it has not been started in Assam, it will be started. NEP will be started in Assam this year. So my question is that what will be the opportunities and challenges of as a commerce teacher or management teacher?
For commerce and management teachers, challenges are not different from what they were. Say, for instance,
Yes,
very frequently we have to revise our syllabus, the content,
yes, sir.
and we have to change
Yes.
our teaching methodology. That challenge is
Okay.
always there. When you make it
Okay.
multidisciplinary, along with the core disciplinary subject that you are teaching, your students
sir.
are exposed to courses other than commerce and management. Say, for
Okay.
instance,
Okay.
you are going to teach accounting, you are going to teach auditing, you are going to teach company act, etc. Whatever
Yes,
the
sir.
subject that you are teaching now, the
Yes.
updated version, the latest versions of these subjects you have to teach. At the same
Okay. Okay.
time, your students are exposed to subjects of their choice in the name of open elective. Say, for instance,
Okay. Sir.
a commerce student may opt for a subject in arts like political science.
Yes, sir.
He may study one course in political science and 4 courses of commerce only, no problem. He will study the subjects as it is with you. You
Yes,
teach
sir.
them accounting, you teach them statistics, you teach them the business management. Along with that, he will study a course outside, that is political science.
Okay. Sir.
He can opt
Okay.
for science, he can study physics. But for us, the problem is to balance the timetable, leave them
Yes, sir.
free to attend the classes of another department or subject, and
Yes.
conducting examination along with the help of the other subjects experts.
Teacher.
For that, you have to make little preparations, that's it. Other than that,
Okay. Sir.
I think no big challenges before the teachers.
Okay. Sir. Thank you, sir.
Teaching is always a challenging task, because
Yes, sir.
whatever
Yes,
you
sir.
think as the latest today will become outdated tomorrow. You have to equip
Yes,
yourself.
sir.
You have to equip
Yes,
yourself.
sir. We have to upgrade ourselves.
Upgrade.
Okay. Thank
Sir,
you.
one
Sir.
more thing.
Yes, please.
Sir, one more thing, sir. This is again Devarajan.
Yeah, Devarajan, please.
Say, sir, we have already a choice-based credit system, sir.
Correct.
And any commerce students or any science students can opt one paper in any opposite group, even now.
Yes.
Then what is a new thing in new education policy, sir? We have already followed the same system.
The system is already there. And
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dr. Devarajan, I am to tell you, no new thing is 100% new. Every new thing is a modified version of something that was in existence.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
not claiming this as absolutely 100% new, but it is a modification in terms of mobility, in terms of evaluation, in terms of the weightage given as credit weightage given to discipline core subjects, open electives, and then skill enhancement programs. The main intention is to concentrate more on skill part of it rather than the theoretical issues. Therefore, I don't claim that it is 100% new. It is a modified, improved version of what we have in the choice-based credit system. Same system we are using. That's the reason I said no new challenges. What is absolutely new is the freedom for the students to select any subject of their choice. Now we may be restricting it to 1 or 2 subjects, but when the system gets mature, there will be opportunity for the students to go for any subject of their choice, to come out with their own personal menu. Say for instance, coming out with a personal menu of the subjects. I want to study this subject. If you have teaching facility, you give me. Otherwise, I will prepare on my own and come and write the exam. That is the spirit of this entire scheme, to make the student free to select any subject of his choice and to become, it may be little more to say that, universally wise. But becoming universally wise is sometimes appears to be distant from reality. But the intention is to make them universally intelligent. I think Devaraj,
Sir,
No, sir, no, sir. What I'm
one
trying
question,
to
sir.
say here. Sir, 1 second, please.
sir,
Sir, 1 second, please. Ramakrishna, sir, 1 second, please.
tell me, sir, please.
Sir, nothing. Actually, the students have all the liberty to choose any sort of courses. Now,
Yes.
they don't have any restrictions, sir. We are not putting any restriction to choose. They are choosing any courses under the choice-based credit system, sir. That is what I want to convey.
If it is there somewhere, excellent. And in many places, it is not there. Students are compelled to make choice between whatever has been given. Forced choice. That forced choice is eliminated. The choice is not the same everywhere. If it is with you, excellent. Let us appreciate. If it is not there, let us introduce. What is wrong in it? Please. Ramakrishnan, sir.
I ask only one question, sir.
Please, sir.
What is the main objectives of outcome-based education, sir? The outcome-based education, the prime on the syllabus include the employability, sir.
Sir, finally, it is employability. If you want to become employable, and I am not to say that employability must be the only criteria, outcome means what you want to achieve. After studying a course, if somebody wanted to become a proficient in accountancy, proficient in auditing, he should become that. If he becomes that, naturally, he will become successful in life. To become successful in life, what do you want? Ultimately, we say that he must have a job that gives him money. Agree? We are living in a commercialized society wherein the final measure is that only. But I am to say that after studying a course, he must become expert in that field. If he did his BCom with a specialization in some subject, at the end of the program, he must become proficient in that field. That is what outcome-based is. Just like, to make it simple, if somebody takes up a dance course, at the end of the course, he must become a good dancer. That's it. But for us, a good dancer to become successful dancer, what we want, there are other considerations. He must be popular, he must earn so much. His appointment must be, getting appointment must be difficult, something. But we are not concentrating on that. Our intention is to make it, to give what he is looking for. Yes. Shall we take a break?
Thank you.